Nice book, wonderful book. For me, it's really I need to read again, again. This it's a it's like my idea is like too much, too strong belief that I'm a permanent, I'm like forever, and then I do stupid things. And when now it's like we're talking about going to talking about impermanent holy beings here. We can to concern in the holy being or the unholy being or the like kind of the evil beings. Both histories in west, east, south, north, in the demand of the human existence, there are such and such rich, powerful realization. And when we look at their histories, biographies, it's incredible, they're already gone. In the present good kalpas, generally, why we are talking about good kalpas, it is very funny in the cosmological how it is the like coming. And in the space, there's one water drop is coming, and then the water drop is like slowly is a little bit hit cold, and then there's coming the lily. 1,000 lilies came first times, and then in the both like desired god realms, they saw this or some god realms. This in the water, this drop side, there's 1,000 the lily like flowers. That is a good karma, good eons, because maybe there's 1,000 Buddhas appear in this world. And like therefore, in this our universe, since it start and now it's remain, and until the like disintegrate or the demolish, until there is like 1,000 Buddhas appears. And according that prophet is the Buddha Shakyamuni, it is the fourth one. And in this perspective, we have many. But some in the says like we don't know. Sometimes the Buddhas came to in this world, and sometimes birds, wild animal, any other normal like kind of the humans. We don't know. And really, too obviously, there is the already fourth appear in this world. And for our perspective, we met the Buddha Shakyamuni, but in the past, there is already 3 Buddhas appeared in this world, but maybe this already billions, trillions years. And even the history, even the teachings already disappeared. And like this, Vipassana and the shirking, and this like true already, it is like gone. And the 5 other Buddhas have already appeared. But it's here is talking about more. It's like 7 or it's like 5 already appeared, each with this own cycle of the Shavaka and the Arhats in inconceivable numbers. And they have like kind of the disciples. Each individual, when they appear the Buddhas, they have a lot of disciples. Shavaka, Pachika Buddha, Bodhisattva, and a lot there is numerables. But all of them's gone. Now it's like just the end of the almost Buddha Shakyamuni's teaching. They each worked to bring the benefit to innumerable beings through the teaching of the 3 vehicles. And also maybe if you study these 3 vehicles, necessary to write the name, then you can to get the information. The first Vinayana vehicle, it's a Vinayana called the Vinayana vehicle. and the second is the Sutayana, and the third is the Abhidamayana. This is the three vehicles. And Vinayana, Sutayana, and Abhidamayana. And you can to say Vina vehicle, Sutta vehicle, and Abhidhamma vehicles. And this three is the resuming is of the Buddha's teaching. And these three vehicles are according to the Mahayana's three vehicle, and Hinayana's three vehicle, Mahayana's three vehicle, Vajrayana's three vehicles. And three vehicles is generally, globally, in all the Buddha's teachings included three vehicles. And therefore it's three vehicles. Through the teaching of the three vehicles, and the innumerable beings made the liberations. Of course, we are still not liberated yet. Maybe also we met on the past those Buddha, but we hasn't got the faith, devotion, and not trust, and we doing stupid things. We still in the left here now. But now it is maybe also is we have on one hand good the good opportunities because we met teaching of the Buddha. Still there's. Yet nowadays all we have it is the whatever still remain of the Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings here. Shakyamuni's teachings only left. Also Shakyamuni's Buddha's teaching, it is just alive for the period is the 5,000. 5,000 inside, some in the something conditions, we lost 1,000, something they said. Then after we left 4,000. In the 4,000, already 2,000, almost now 3,000 is coming. Then after the 1,000 is after, they completely disappeared. There's no teaching of the Dharma. Don't worry, at that moment we can't to hear. Sometimes we say, I don't want to study Dharma. So, okay, don't worry. After 1,000 years, completely disappeared. Then you don't need to, even you want it. Like this kind of, it's really, it's naturally, it's disappeared. Like maybe after the 1,000 years, and then it's kind of become the dinosaurs, It is there's only ancient times there is Buddha or Buddha's teaching. Maybe it's after the 1,000. It's nobody's, they don't know that really Buddha appeared in this or the teachings was Buddha's name and the teaching. Completely nobody's maybe knows like this kind. And like this. The otherwise teaching remained Buddha Shakyamuni's teachings. Otherwise, all of those Buddhas have passed into the nirvana. And all the pure Dhamma teachings they gave have gradually disappeared, slowly, and like this. Beginning, Buddha himself, of powerful teaching, of course, immediately many be enlightenment. Afterward, also it's he's just passed away the few years, it's very powerful. Like even the Guru Rinpoche brought Buddha Dharma into Tibet, inconceivable, powerful, fresh, and everything is like a candle. Then it's lesser power. Then it's the Dharma is like kind of the market milk. Do you understand? Market milk. Market milk does it means when you first original the one business got the milk from the farmer, and he bring and maybe 1 liter, he mix it with the water, something is to make the 1 liter is 5 liters. And then it's this is the 1 liter divided the 5, and there's a 5 liter, but inside many different chemical or the water. And maybe this 5 liter, another business companies brought, and each one's make the 5 liter, 25 liters. 1 liter of milk is divided 25 liters. Then it looks like a water, the milk, but reality is not really. like this kind of like market milk, and then it's mixed many different things. The lesser and lesser power, strength, like this. And then it's like these days also it's like more lesser. I think it's like a power and strength. It's the truth. For example, I would to take example myself. I made how many is like the great masters teaching received, but according to my doubt, according to my negative emotions, all the times, maybe it's truth, maybe it's not, maybe like this. Then this attitude says it doesn't kind of the how do you say the effect or the result consequence doesn't come in. Like Sam, I'm taking the diabetic medicines, and when I go to the the how do you say, diabetologist and give mention this medicine, that medicine, I buy and keep in my apartment, full of the medicines and almost. Then it's of course it doesn't help, and exactly like this. Also, I have sometimes doubt, difficult to eat, and like this kind of, and then it's a because it's like maybe it's according to body speech, the element disturbing emotions very much strong, and its negative aspect mind is more intelligent all the times, like a kind of Buddhas appear the front, no faith, no devotion, nothing interest. Even the sentient beings is losing their stomach, all the inner organs out, in the like suffering the front, almost there's no compassion. And this kind of our mind is become the very bizarre. And then it's who can to help? It's like this. And it's like if I'm taking myself, it's really truth. It is like it's difficult to Dharma, difficult Dharma can help to our minds. When we are listen to the teaching of Dharmas, it's just, of course, there is like kind of experience, there is a like a preliminary or the like conventional teachings. There is like a base, a little bit histories, but there is like a like a definitive teachings. If you go to really definitive teachings, it's absolutely telling the truth. And then it's like we follow or not to follow, telling the truth. And then it's if we really to follow, then there is the consequence result is very powerful, really immediately is occurring. Like this is a, and before it's a Dharma is a very powerful, really is the teacher's excellent, student is marvelous, combinations fantastic, immediately result there is. Now it's like more lesser and lesser, but what can we do? Maybe we can do our best. Maybe a result, it is like this. And the one by one, the numerous great Shavaka of the present dispensation tools. And also it's like those disciples of the Shavaka, Pachika Buddhas, also each individual, they have such disciples, 500,000, they have disciples. Also there is present dispensations too, it also disappeared. They also is like gone. Each with his entourage of the 500 arhat have passed beyond suffering into the state with nothing is the left of the aggregates. Of course, it is like kind of aggregations. As this morning I said, it's like aggregates. Our body, our like a verb, this contaminated, it is the built by the aggregates. The aggregation, the form, formation, like a perception and consciousness. And these 5 aggregation is like kind of the particle, atoms. And these particles, these aggregations, actually reality is the luminosities. There's nothing kind of the like dusty or like kind of the particles, luminosity. And this luminosity itself is the absolute nature of the natural expanse of the empty nature. And in this perspective, you realize that you become the like kind of the cycle of the rainbow luminosity. There's nothing needed to lift. I make the joke. When you see the ice, there's such big, strong ice melted into the water, nothing left. Then you cannot say there's something left. It's ice itself has become like water. But this aggregates reality is the luminosity. There's nothing kind of the dust or the particles, nothing like a tangible or the like a impediment means it's like a kind of solid. Everything is like kind of the luminosities. And this luminosity itself is nature reality, is the expanse of the empty nature. And then it's like there is melted into this, into dissolved into the essence nature or individual particle or the aggregations. Then you can twist the nothing is the self of the aggregates to be in like kind of be in rainbow body. B is like kind of the it's like a natural expanse or the like space like that. That's one is like for example in the modern some religious like aura like practitioners when they say you go to see the some Saki auras say I see your aura I see your auras here. It's like kind of the each this is scientific like each particle each atoms has is around is like luminosities like kind of the auras. That means it's a good sign for the in the Buddhist the philosophical of the realities teachings, because each particles aggregates are it's the luminosity, just luminous. Luminosity itself is the empty nature. Then it's like all that this solid, huge particles aggregations melt into the itself in the luminosities. There's what is the particles left. Nothing kind of. And like this, one is realized that you're this, the nature, this essence of the luminosity or the empty nature. There's nothing kind of left to contaminate the body or something, It's the rainbow body. It's like this, to showing or not showing. Of course, it's like normally, it's like when we died after ugly this body smelling, or we put into the ground, or give fish or birds. But someone is like nothing disappeared. That kind of the showing. But anyway, eaten by the birds or insect, put in the cup or doesn't matter. Finally, it's disappeared into the like a kind of the 100 years after completely exhaust something in the space. I mean, it's like also 100 make the joke. It's 100 not necessary. Each moment is everything is become the luminosities. There's nothing left. And we think it's like, okay, this is need to exhaust, then disappear. This is each nanosecond is become the luminosities. Nothing left. No, there's a thread, Everything is going like this. Nothing there is left. That is everything is appearing from the luminosities, abiding in the luminosities, dissolve into the luminosities. There's nothing left. That is the like kind of reality, but it's difficult to understand. It doesn't matter like this. That means that in India, there only lived the 500 arhats who compiled the word of the Buddha. And also there in India, after he passed away, there's a great arhat and Shavakas, his disciples. And they collected this compiled the word of the Buddha's teachings. This one is wonderful if you really want to check. And after the Buddha's passed, then there's the Shavaka, arhats. And immediately under that summer, then they said, we need to collect Buddha's teachings. First, like kind of compiled in that moment. I think there is someone's calling. And it's okay, yes? And then is that time is there is two collections. One is the Pali language. One is the Sanskrit language. We have two kind of in the Arhat, in the Shavakas. Inside one group, they're talking about Pali. One group is talking about the Sanskrit. Sanskrit is the more profounded, and then it's like this second, and then also third one is after the some 100 years collect, and then this last one is like some collect this Buddha's all the like compiled Buddha's word in the Pali language. We have still there is the written in the Burma and the Sri Lanka we can to have, but Sanskrit collection is the Buddha's word, his teachings. It was in the Nalanda universities, and then it's Nalanda University. There is a such Turtikar or the like some other religious came and they destroyed, burned one day. Everything's destroyed, and that time is everything is lost. But one good things, and in Tibet there is the Shantarakshita. He came to in Tibet, and he brought, and he has in the memory everything. Then we translate all the Sanskrit way, Sanskrit the language Buddha's teachings brought into the in Tibet. That is very much wonderful. So of course in the Pali language it's like more Hunayanas. This one we have direct. The Sanskrit language is only existent in Tibet because of the Shantarakshita. In India, it's lost everything. All this pileder or the collector of there is great Bodhisattvas and hundreds of Shavaka Pachika Buddhas. All of them is just disappeared. Now they only left. And look at this kind of the great masters, disciple of the Buddha. They are already gone. Ourselves is absolutely just like kind of the, how do you say, it's like water bubble. It is like really, it's, we can to say it's like this morning born of the like insect. It's like our life is very fast to quickly, and constantly like this to meditate on the post meditation or the concentration meditation doesn't matter, to alternately to constantly like this. Even those kind of the great masters, practitioners gone. I'm a true. I need to quickly to practice truth Dharma. I want to practice truly Dharma right now. To need to be things like this. There were the 6 ornament and the true supreme ones, the 80 Suddhas, and the many others who master all attribute of the path and the levers, and presented unlimited clairvoyance, ultimate clairvoyance, and miraculous powers. Those kind of the 6 ornament, like for example Shantakar, so on. There is in India great 6 masters, and there's like kind of the 2 supreme ones, and it's like Nangachunas, Asangas, so on. They are really, really, it's like same as they achieved, the same as the Buddha. And also their path and the Burmese is a very, very much mastered. They are like a become enlightenment. And also they have the absolute clairvoyance, and they are omniscient. And also they have such miraculous powers. They can to do whatever they want, but finally they also shows to us impermanent, and they are already gone. Now there's just left histories. Or that in India there's those great, the holder of the Buddha's teaching, wonderful, but they are already gone. We never met it. And compare, like look at those holy beings, and then we can to say ourselves is really is like nothing is short life. Oh, I cannot sleep on the laziness. I cannot be lazy. I need to put to effort to quickly to do something, to practice truly Dharma. That's we need to say. And but all that remain of them today are the story telling how they lived, and just like kind of the histories. Absolutely, even we like a kind of like our grandfather, grandmother say, look in the our like history of the Europe. Sometime I'm watching the like Mr. Caesar in the rooms, how many he make warriors, powerful. The Macedonian king, Alexander, and Bertie king. Look at Germany's Hitler's. All this is like how much is like this they done, but they already life is like something strange they spent. When we look at those like royal families, they should to be happy to be there all the time war, thinking about the like kind of the well-being and the famous and the happiness, but reality not really happy, doing strange things. Now all of them is history. It's like kind of some as a beings kings, some is a did some nice good history. Someone has a very bad history. Even the beings took there to heard the like histories, angry, sad, like this. Someone is like compassionate, good person done. We have like appreciate very much. All this kind of already gone in the history, like, and therefore we need to like kind of to understood that necessarily. And of course it's like when it is something happened ourselves, and so also one day we will become the history, and what we did in our own individual kingdom, in our own in the environment. I'm a king of my limbs. I'm a king of my organs. I'm a king of my own consciousness, five consciousness, five aggregation. How I can to rule this kingdom, and then finally, it's my all the entourage of the aggregations, consciousness, elements saying to king, what you done? Now you are going need to go to next your, in the kingdom, say the next kingdom, we don't know, but that time is a little bit king is very sad, mind says, oh sorry, I did some negative things. Then it's really organs and entourage, aggregations telling to us, oh poor, now you need to leave from us and you go to next times you get the nice kingdom or not. I think it's not because it's you done some negative things. Maybe we done the positive things, aggregations, consciousness, maybe very happy. Wow, good king, you are going to next kingdom is a fantastic. And like this, we are kingdom, our own individuals. And like this, it's necessary. Okay, do you have some questions? Not, maybe you can rest 5 minutes. Okay, la. Yeah.
Rinpoche, I have a question about the count of Buddhas from the beginning of this kalpa. Because normally I heard, or you teach already that the Buddha Shakyamuni is the fourth guide of this eon. And here it's, if I count here, there are seven. Yes.
Yes, I think it's generally it's this Buddha Shakyamuni fourth, but also there is like seven already like kind of the named. Yeah.
Understanding, maybe I'm wrong, is that maybe the three first one, since there are no more followers and the teaching disappeared.
Absolutely.
We cannot say that there are guides.
Like trillions, maybe millions before. There is almost it is like impossible.
But nowadays, only the teaching of the Buddha remains. Of Shakyamuni Buddha remains. Yes. Okay.
That's all.
Thank you very much.
For example, sometimes very interesting, have you been in Egypt? This pyramid, this the Ramses. Ancient, 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 ancient. Someone says Buddhist. But we don't know. Really, it's the first this the pyramid creators. Very funny things. I was there. It's some is yeah, but we don't know. This history is gone.
When the Buddha's teaching will disappear, is it together with our cosmos that it disappears, or will this destruction come after Buddha's disappearing?
Before the cosmologies disappeared, maybe Buddha's teachings disappeared.
Second question, if you allow. Our Buddha nature is the truth of our reality. So
I think so.
That was not the question. The question is, are we automatically able to distinguish what is the truth? Or do we need Buddha's teaching to be able to distinguish the truth? Will it be sufficient to hear this teaching as we are ourselves, we have Buddha nature, and then only by hearing the teaching we are able to distinguish, because we cannot rely on persons. The teaching will be enough, because it are the words of the Buddha.
This is question?
The question is, we ourselves are able to distinguish the truth, because it is our true nature. Otherwise it would not be possible. So how can we make these errors?
Can you repeat? Amanda, do you understand?
Well, I have a question. In these teachings, what I understand is that every phenomenon is impermanent. We are impermanent. And this is very important to understand that we need to start to practice Dharma. And when I try to meditate about my death, I feel, because I'm ignorant and I don't know what is going on after the death, I feel kind of scared. It's like I feel I'm not ready because I don't have enough knowledge how to do when I'm dead or whatever. Do you have any instruction for people like me who don't know what is after that? And to take off this fear and can meditate about that we can death in any moment,
Mm-hmm.
to accept that.
I mean, it's a yeah. That this is the kind of truth to really to practice how to say meditate something in the mind, and maybe it's better to have a correct certainty. Maybe it is like this, but I think it's basically there is a different type of the meditation. You know, like cherish meditation and advantage meditation, the meditation of the Tathagata. They say it's like this. And the beginning, it is like to meditate calm and abiding, a little bit kind of vipassanams, and also it's like meditate on the breathe out in, like exchange, this kind of. And also it's like, I would to say, it's basically to practice compassion, meditate under compassion, and that is helps us very much. It's also it's like a most strong compassions take away the fear. You know, it is that is like to maybe it's a little bit more to study the qualities of the compassion and also the beneficial of the compassion and how to the meditate the compassions. And it's like a compassion meditation is not only the concentration meditate. There's analytical meditation, and also like of course you can to focus meditation on the absolute bodhicitta. You can't, but it's also it's like analytical, like aspiration bodhicittas to a little bit analyze everything is impermanent and all the sentient beings may be ignored and they are really is like kind of confused. I want to dedicate to them how I can to make liberate, and I want to like kind of the give to them all the virtues, good. I want to make it like kind of the do some benefit for them. It's like comparatively one person and the billions trillions sentient beings. Then it's like different, and my own myself to suffering is okay, but so many beings are the sufferings. In this case, it's like I'm only. It's like something happened to others to be happy. It is okay. Then lesser like kind of fear, lesser self-concerning, and like this is I think it helps very much. Of course, beginning to meditate. Which kind of meditation I need? Not really afraid, but probably it's like kind of lot of doubt, lot of emotional coming, and how I can to meditate. Sometimes you are meditate, nothing there coming, blind, and if you a little bit to kind of maintain, but different thoughts, past, futures coming, and also different like kind of disturbing emotion is coming. And in this perspective, maybe more little to study analytical meditation is very good for mind. Analytical meditation means when your thoughts is coming. For example, if I'm thinking about the impermanent, okay, I'm impermanent. I need to really to develop the compassion, but certainly maybe it's coming across to about the beer. Okay, beer is very delicious. Belgian beer, blah, 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 and immediately to recognize that, I'm thinking like this. Okay, you can go to back. I need to think about the impermanent because it's out of environment in a sentient beings like this. Then it's you give mind a job. It's coming, it's other thoughts cross. You recognize that and you give to the mind job constantly. Then this you give mind job, and then mind working on that. And then his mind slowly become the worker bird. And then his mind like this. The beginning is like when you think something, another thought is coming across, it's occupied to take away. And then it's like what you at first want to meditate things, lost. Particularly focused meditations, you focus, some thoughts is coming, take away immediately. But in this case, it's like something you give analytical meditations. Maybe it's like a sentient, impermanent, human existence, compassion, a little bit mind to give job. When you are working mind on it, that is analytical meditation. It's like a meditation. We are working meditation, sitting meditation, chatting meditation. Means what you are presently doing. Give a job specifically, particularly beginning mind needs specific job, because it's naturally mind doesn't want to meditate on good things. It's all the times negative. Mind is habit. But begin is like to give specific job. It's like thinking the human existence, yeah, and also maybe impermanent and outer, inner, and compassion. Then you specific to job. Also mind sometimes reject, and another thought is coming. There is you need mindfulness to remember, and then mind to need to think on that, continue. Then it's like you give a specific job. This specific job giving education to the mind, and this can help at the beginning. Okay.
So you're telling that to think, for example, before to sleep, that we can die in our sleep or wherever is maybe not a good thought to think about it.
This is analytical, yeah. If I'm like, for example, impermanent, then in the impermanence occurring, what I need to do, and what I truly to practice the Dharma right now, in the relative way, it's like, okay, one is impermanence occurring, which kind of I need education, my mind, and what I need to do something for the preparation next step, and you are not disappeared in the space. You need to consciousness continue to go into there. And the mind say, yes, of course, I'm going to next generations. And also it's like many things. For example, it's like a kind of family situations. You concerning that, you analytical meditation on the impermanent. And it's a little bit, today I need to become kind to my families. And also myself, I need to education. I don't know, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. If I'm today to be kind, and my impermanence, when it's arrive, maybe it's until they are very happy. After something, they have such joy, they appreciate. And this is also is to help in life. And also it's like in the moment of that time, it's an impermanent mind. Who can to help to you? By the like family, by the children, by the mother, father, like a country, army. Nobody's. I told you once I was in Portugal, it's English class, and they certainly talk about that impermanent, okay? And then everybody was very much shocked. And then they asked me, in Tibet, they're talking about a lot. Could you tell to us? I said, do you believe it's the next reincarnation? Yes, that is totally believe. But then it's the dead person, who can help? The teacher, English teacher, maybe science can help to us. And it's like they're still putting hope, and everybody has this fear and for that. Believe or not believe that moment. And in this moment you have something to education, and then it's maybe it's easily to help. And for the hours in the relative, in the Buddhist philosophical perspective, it is we are after the, in the word my perfect teacher says, after that we something like this impermanent, we are not disappear, we are not evaporated. Consciousness go continue. And even for example, our Western cultures, it's like we have two destinations. And we also next destination, better to go up. No need to go to down. In this case, it's also thinking like, in the Buddhist perspective, you are traveling, where you traveling is kind of the 6 realms, but this is a very rough. It's maybe 6 realms is nothing now. There's so many different type of the realm. Realm means it's the appearances. Good appearance, bad appearances. Which kind of we have appearances next step, we don't know, but next reincarnation, next appearances occurring, that moment, which I needed to really is like to prepare a little, very good meditation. Then is mind is to developing slowly, slowly, this kind of. Then finally, Malaripa said, you are constantly impermanent, maybe beginning afraid, suddenly you lost. No fear anymore. And then it's like this necessary. Then it's like, how do you say it? The yogis, meditators, practitioners, it's death or the impermanent is the way of the enlightenment. Until there is working for the benefit sentient beings, that moment is you are going into your own enlightenment. And then Malaripa says, first time he's afraid about the impermanent, he run into the mountains and he meditated on the impermanent, and then finally he said, I lost fear of the impermanent. We need like this. That's beginning a little bit to concern is very important to analyze. Okay, maybe stop 5 minutes. Okay,